How's it going, everyone? College Lefty, and in this video I have for you all some more Ranked Seasons gameplay. I'm making another push towards World Series. If you watched the previous episode, I made it up to about 882 and actually lost the game for World Series, and that was my first loss that I've taken in a game for World Series or a situation where I could have earned a 900 rating in a few seasons. It's been, quite a few seasons. I've been able to at least clutch those games out. But we did lose some points. We moved back down to about 860. So let's go ahead and hop right into this one. Starting off the game with the base hit from Cody Bellinger. I've kind of mixed around my outfield a little bit. I've used Ted Williams in left field, Babe Ruth in right. I've used Babe Ruth in left, Bellinger in right. I've also used Babe Ruth in left, Griffey in right. I've mixed up some guys. I've mixed in Mike Trout out there in center field. Moved Willie Mays to right field. But the only time I'll ever really move Willie Mays is if I put Trout in center, just because he has a little bit more speed, that diamond fielding. Anyway, I've been mixing around the team a little bit. For the most part, we do have the same core guys in Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, Jimmie Foxx has been there consistently. Honus Wagner is right there. I've moved around Rogers Hornsby and Roberto Alomar a little bit at second base. I've been using my creative player behind the plate, but for this specific game, I'm using Gary Carter. I recently picked him up out of a guaranteed rare Signature Series pack. Figured I would try him out. And there the opponent's hitting a solo shot with Cody Bellinger to take the lead. Early lead, 1-0. Babe Ruth is smacking this one into the gap over the head of Cody Bellinger, and I'm trying to score from first base, but I felt 83 speed was a little bit too slow. Unable to capitalize in that inning. I could have potentially scored. It just depends on whether he got a good animation and a good relay from his second baseman there. Anyway, his pitcher is bunting here to kind of move the runner over. We get the lead runner at second. Later on in the game, I definitely had a couple chances so far throughout this one to kind of hit with some runners in scoring position, but for the most part, my average with runners on base and runners in scoring position was fairly low. I was unable to get anything going. I've been shut down completely up until the top of the sixth inning. We'll move forward a little bit. Jimmie Foxx up at the plate, and that is going to be a very late jammed hit the other way. Just Jimmie Foxx has an incredible swing in this game. I really like using that card. The very next batter, Ted Williams, is hitting one a little bit. I was on top of that one a little bit. I felt like I got it, but he throws it away there, so that's the big thing. It could have easily been a double play. Anyway, Honus Wagner sending one up the middle, and I tried to send Jimmie Foxx home, send the runner back to third base, and Ted Williams is taking off for third. It's just unfortunate that I got mixed up on the base pass. I was trying to send Ted Williams to third base. He would have been in there safely. Jimmie Foxx could have potentially been out at the plate, but I was trying to risk it and trying to keep the runner on first base, obviously not send him to second. But my base running skills are really bad in this year's game, so it is what it is. Later on, Lou Gehrig up at the plate with the chance to, tie up the ball game. He still only has that one run. We're in the top of the seventh. A 1-0 game is something that's very unlikely in this year's game, simply because my ERA is much higher than this. I average giving up, 5-6 runs a game. I'm usually having to score more than that in order to win. So far in this one, I figured I was kind of in a slump, so I went and changed the PCI reticle, or I changed the display from wedge to reticle to get these parentheses as my visual. Here we have a chance here with Jimmie Foxx up at the plate facing a lefty with 2 down. He hangs the slider, and luckily I hit that one out. A 3-run shot. We get right back in the ball game, but still have a couple innings left to work with. Kenley Jansen's in the game. The bullpen is still pretty tired from some of the extra inning games I've recently matched up with and played in trying to pursue World Series in the championship series. But anyway, we end up winning that game 3-2. We hit one out with Ryan Sandberg. That made it an interesting game. A one swing of the bat would tie it up, but we were able to close that one out. So let's hop into this next one. We are at about 880 again. Once again, we got the points right back from the previous game. So if we win this one, I think because we already lost the first game for World Series, that we would be at about 898, 897, somewhere in there. We would probably take 2 more wins in order to get right back to where we want to be at 900 rating. Anyway, this opponent is getting a couple seeing eye singles throughout this game so far. He's gotten everything to fall in. He's got a nice 2 guys on base, 1 in scoring position, nobody down in the inning, and Francisco Lindor is smacking that one through the left side there. Actually, I think that was Ketel Marte. Definitely a solid card. I want to try that card out at second base as well. I talked a little bit about earlier using Hornsby and Roberto Alomar. I figured why not maybe try and use Ketel Marte. He has a little bit more power, but less vision, a little bit less contact in certain areas. But two really good players I see a lot of people using. Anyway, Cody Bellinger is getting this one into the gap. So we minimized in the last inning a couple big strikeouts from Clayton Kershaw. And I was unable to score that first run, but nonetheless, it's still a good ball game. 2-0, now 3-0, since Roberto Alomar hits a no-doubt solo shot to the right center field gap. We are facing the Signature Series Burt Blyleven in this one. So not really a card I face that often. I felt like I got this one with Lou Gehrig, but it is a line drive to the warning track. Got under it and just did not get under it enough, potentially. But anyway, Honus Wagner is also smacking that one to center field. Unfortunate, that one wasn't out for a homer either. A good out. It's going to end up in a line out. Anyway, it's a 3-0 game. One swing of the bat will tie it up with Willie Mays. And I just barely got under that one. And I didn't hit it well enough to send it out for a 3-run shot. So I haven't been able to find the launch angle in this specific game. It has been pretty good, back and forth so far in terms of chances to score. He had a nice chance early on. And I've also had a couple guys on base, some decent hits that didn't result in hits. I've definitely had some chances to score my fair share of runs in this ball game as well. As soon as I tacked one on with the sac fly, Honus Wagner goes deep the other way. So it's just kind of unfortunate that whenever I was able to get something going, felt like I was able to string together, a rally, then I'm giving up another run in return. Roberto Alomar's hitting another one, a second home run in the ball game after a foul ball that I felt like Lou Gehrig just did not react well, and it would have been a tough play to get to anyway, but a foul ball and then give up another homer to Alomar. My power hitters are just flying out to the warning track. I just can't seem to find that no-doubt swing, that no-doubter animation, that home run launch angle in this game. We're down 4 runs. It is a 5-1 game. Hit another one into the gap, and that's tracked down by Cody Bellinger. Definitely a good swing, definitely a good play out there, and just did not get rewarded in this game. Finally got a little bit frustrated, power swung, and squared one up with Rogers Hornsby. I don't necessarily power swing often because it does make your PCI very small with the way the hitting engine is. In this game, I don't feel that it's necessary, but for example, I power swung with Hornsby, went right back to a regular swing right here with Pablo Sanchez. Felt like I was on that one and did not get rewarded. Here I'm going to power swing once again with Ted Williams. I was underneath the ball. I'll go into slow motion right here so you all can see how I was under it with the PCI. You can see the feedback right there says good. It's a perfect swing underneath the zone. But you can easily tell the PCI shrinks as you swing, and I was way below it. With the feedback and the way the hitting engine is this year, I don't power swing as much because it's tough for me to figure out what I'm doing wrong and where to actually swing. If you notice, I felt like I popped that one up. If that's a regular X swing, that might have even been a pop-up to the catcher. Anyway, if we hit a couple home runs, we make it a nice ball game, 5-3. We still have plenty of time to come back in this game. I'm back to regular swinging with X and just trying to, get a couple base hits. The only time I really power swung in this game was kind of when I was a little bit frustrated. I mean, when you're squaring up the ball well, even though I chased right there with Ty Cobb, that's definitely another chance to score a couple runs. I felt like I swung a bad pitch. If we would have got the top of the lineup up to the plate and swing at a good pitch like that, Cody Bellinger goes deep. I just felt like I had multiple chances in this game. If a couple of those good swings resulted in some hits earlier on, and I didn't necessarily have, a bunch of solo shots or a bunch of hits that came sparingly, if that makes sense, where I didn't really string them together. Didn't really hit the greatest with runners in scoring position. But at the same time, we're right in this ball game. Roberto Alomar is hitting his 3rd home run of the game. That was, a hanging pitch over the middle of the plate. It was a cutter, so kind of weird to say a hanging cutter, but it did not really break necessarily where I wanted it to. We still have a great chance, as crazy as that sounds. We're down by 3 in the bottom of the 9th inning. I have made these types of comebacks before. We're one swing of the bat now after a base hit from Willie Mays, and Babe Ruth ties the game up. The thing about this is Babe Ruth would be now the only pitcher or the guy that I'm going to use on the mound simply because if we don't walk this game off, I don't have any other pitchers to go to. I pinch hit in that specific inning to try and get something going. Albert Pujols was a pinch hitter off the bench. I wouldn't have necessarily tied the game up if I didn't do so. So we will have to use a position player on the mound, and it will be Albert Pujols. But I think I'm going to put him somewhere in the field, move around the infielders and the outfielders a little bit, so that way I have Babe Ruth on the mound. We line out with Jimmie Foxx. I really needed to win that game because I needed to win it right then and there with the walk-off because Babe Ruth is now on the mound. He gets a bunt hit. It results in an error. It's a great play. I mean, it's going to be tough for Babe Ruth to make that play. He's not even a pitcher. He's out of position. But he does record a couple outs, and we ended up losing this game 8-7. Did not make the comeback for the second time, but it was still a pretty fun game. Really nice to tie it up with Babe Ruth. I appreciate everybody watching this video, and peace out.